Alright, so this is the housing that mounts to the transfer case, okay? And this holds the speedometer gear, which will go inside here, okay? So you want to make sure them surfaces are nice and clean. Now, typically what I do before I install this, I go ahead and put the seal in. I don't do it after it's mounted. Now the factory fit up for this is there's a paper gasket that goes inside here like this. It doesn't call for any sealant. However, I'm going to use one of Ron's double lip seals. I'm going to put RTV all the way around this, and it does recommend that, to put sealant on it. And I'm going to drive this seal in place. Now, what am I using to do that? A seal driver. You can get these kits at Harbor Freight Tools. They don't cost that much. It comes with all kinds of different size bits, but I'm going to tell you something. This kit has earned its freaking earned its pay. So it's an invaluable tool. I'll show you how this looks when I'm done. Well, I don't know if this is going to work. I have my camera hanging from the ceiling, eh? Alright. Factory install says put the paper gasket inside. That's it. I'm going to take my new double lip seal and I'm just going to get a bead of this stuff on there, okay? You notice I'm not using a ton. I'm going to put it on this bottom edge. It doesn't have to be beautiful, folks. The act of driving this seal in will force this up. So, it's in place. Got my handy dandy seal driver. This is going to give me even pressure all the way around the seal. It's going in nice. Alright, I don't know if you can see this, but it's seated all the way down to the base of that flange. And you just wipe out the excess. Let me just give this an extra little. That's all she wrote. Very simple procedure. Alright, shouldn't leak. Next thing I'll do is I'll mask this off, I'll get it painted, and then I'll go ahead and install the speedometer gear, clean up the shims that go on this unit over here, and get this remounted, okay? Alright. So, you want to mask off your surfaces. The easiest way is just to slap some blue tape over it, kind of squish down the ends here to reveal the edge, and just take a fresh X-Acto knife and simply trim away the paper, or excuse me, the tape. Alright, so why do I do this before I install the part? Because I like to do things like that. I do it because, you know, I even did the inside here. It could probably look a little better, but I just want to get a good coat of primer on it and get it painted, and then when I get it assembled, then all I have to do is just a little touch up around the thing, and then I'm done. So it's just a preference. Most guys, you could disassemble this thing raw if you want. And then once it's all built, go ahead and prime it and then paint the entire thing. So, I don't know. Maybe it's an unnecessary step, but that's just how I do things. Okay? Well, not really. Here's another reason why. When you got deep recesses like this, and they exist all over the place, so once this thing's put back together, there's going to be places you can't even reach. So that was probably the key reason why I did it. Because I know I can't get into some of these tight spots once it's assembled. Especially when all these components are on here, how are you going to get inside some of these tight locations? There. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, so I got a little primer on it. I'm going to let that dry up a little bit and get some green. Oh yeah, got some green on there. I'll let that dry and get ready for an install. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and just bring this camera. Whoa, look at that beautiful thing. We're going to get those shims cleaned up, and we'll explain what these parts are. Alright, so how am I cleaning my shims without damaging them? Because these shims, some of them are a lot flimsier than others, right? So what I do is I put the stack together. I've already gone through 2 of them as far as rotation. But I put the stack together, I run my fluid, and I use a little Scotch-Brite kind of pad, and I just rub both sides of these while pinching. Now the reason I do this is because the other shims help keep the thinner one nice and rigid while I'm working this, and I don't damage it. So I just work it. I take this one here and I move it to the top. Now I'm cleaning the top and I'm cleaning the bottom of the next one, and then I keep that rotation going. I also maintain the stacking that was there originally. I want to reuse these old shims because, one, they're still good, and I won't have to worry about preloading the bearing and race on the transfer case when I put new shims in. So I'm just going to reuse the old stack. So that's all there is to that. You see what I mean? They get out nice and clean. Now when I took these off, they fell apart just like you see them. There was no sealant on these. It's no wonder the damn thing leaked. Okay. Are you ready for an edumacation? Everything's good to go here, alright? I got this unit cleaned, as you saw earlier. It's painted, it's good to go, it's ready for some action. Now, I just want to touch on something that's important. A lot of new guys, I mean, I hope you don't do this, but they take these things apart and they think this is some kind of gasket, and they toss them out. These are shims, and this shim pack is located right here, and it goes between this housing and this unit. Now, how do you know you got the right shims? Well, if you pull off the old ones and they're savable, and you don't remove this, then don't replace them. Just clean them up like I showed you earlier and reinstall everything. These bolts, 35 foot-pounds, and just use the cross pattern as you tighten them up so you don't bust the housing or crack anything. My recommendation is that you put some RTV in between every one of these, all right? Now, if you have a transfer case that leaks, this is a good location for them to leak at. I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different potential spaces that oil can leak in between the shims, in between the shims and this, and between the shims and that. Also, wicking. Remember I told you about wicking on there. So, preload. When this unit's installed, and you're going to have the shift tower on the back, okay? That back bearing and race is sort of a light fit. It goes all the way in. But not the same for the front one. So, you're going to have to assemble this unit dry, all right, with the shims and this unit, 35 foot-pounds all the way around, and then you're going to take a dial indicator, and you're going to place that dial. Where's my little pointer at? Here we go. Put that dial indicator on that bearing, okay? Set it at 0, pull that shaft out, and you shouldn't get more than 4 to 8 thousandths of an inch of play. If you have more than that, then it's too loose. You're going to have to remove a shim, tighten it down again, double check the end play. There's very little movement. So this is within spec, but that's how you measure that. My dial indicator is busted, so I can't give you a practical demonstration, but I can explain it. So you're going to build your shim packs up. Now these shim packs come in anywhere from 3/1000ths of an inch to 10 to 31 thousandths. They come in a pack, and so you're basically going to do your best to assemble a group of shims. All right. You're going to put them on there dry. Now you'll notice they take up a lot of space now. There's some distance there. There's still a little bit of a bearing cup that's showing, but that's because it fits in this recess. All right. This is going to go on. I'm not going to tighten these all the way down. All right, you're going to put these on, torque them down to 35 foot-pounds. That pressure will continue to seat that race in just a little bit. Back it off, check your end play. If it's out of tolerance, remove a shim, possibly the smallest one. Go ahead and reassemble it. Double check the end play. Okay, you keep doing this until you get within 4 to 8 thousandths of an inch of end play. Why is this important? You don't need that shaft sliding in and out like this, even though you can't even see it with the eyeball hardly. But you don't want this bouncing back and forth. You're just going to get premature wear on your bearings and races, and then you're going to end up trashing the whole thing. So anyways, when you do check the end play, make sure you push the shaft in as far as it'll go in that direction, then set your dial indicator, pull the shaft out, and watch the needle. And that's how you do it. Now, when you reassemble this unit for good, make sure that you have this drive gear in place. You back that out. Okay? You don't want this you don't want this thing to be an afterthought. Put a little lubrication in there and slide it in just like that. Notice the relationship. All right? This edge goes to the inside. All right? There's no way you're going to get that on once you put this into place. Okay? Shims. Housing. Okay? And if you'll notice the relationship to everything. Now that yoke is gonna mount right up against that gear in there when you tighten everything down. So that's where we're at so far. Preload, shimming. It's important, and it's done all over the Jeep. I mean, on the steering knuckles, on the axles, you name it. Wherever there's a bearing on this Jeep, you're going to be a preload and shimming fool. All right? I'll shoot out another video when we're ready to put this thing back together. So, in summary, yeah, preloading and shimming is very important. Too loose, shaft is too sloppy, it'll wiggle back and forth and cause premature wear. Too tight, and obviously you're going to have metal parts rubbing against each other, creating all kinds of friction, wear and tear that you don't need, and possibly some drag. So you got to get it just right. Don't skimp on this part. Take your time and do it right the first time. Remember, silicone gasket sealant on in between the shims. Also use some thread sealant on the speedometer gear once you screw that into place. You gotta get everything sealed, folks. Yes, you too can have a leak-free transfer case. I'm just saying. They don't have to mark their spot every time. All right, we'll see you later.